looking for that. Hey, here in the studio with me today to talk all about birds is a friend of mine. Her name is Sarah Baxter, and she's the Information Education Coordinator for the Whit Stevens Jr. Central Arkansas Nature Center.
Yes, you got it.
Can you say that?
I can. I can probably say it 5 times fast.
Well, you get used to it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you hadn't been with us all that many years,
Right.
but where are you from? And
Well, I've been with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission for 3 years now, and I started off my first 2 years at the Forest Elwood Crowley's Ridge Nature Center in Jonesboro, and then last January I moved down here to the Central Arkansas Nature Center.
okay, so you started out in the Jonesboro Nature Center and then moved to Little Rock. Where did you go to school? What's your background?
Well, I have a bachelor's degree in wildlife management from Arkansas State University there in Jonesboro, and almost finished with my master's degree in biology from Arkansas State as well.
Wow. Going to get that master's degree.
Yes,
well,
sir.
folks, I'll tell you what, she knows a whole bunch about birds, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. But she works at our nature center, and I don't know if you've ever been down there. I know it's been open, what, a couple years now?
2 years. December of '08 is when we opened.
And then we got some video here. Trey went down and shot some video of it. If you hadn't been down there, folks, you need to go. There's that long name. But it's right on the river market between the river market and the river, really.
Exactly.
Now, when you do go in there, you can see right there, they've got a bird feeding area. If you don't have bird feeders, like we're going to be talking about today, this is a good place you can go and just be entertained. That gets a lot of use, doesn't it?
Oh yes, people love watching it right there. We call it our wildlife viewing area. We've got all kinds of stuff that comes down there. So,
And of course, there's a big aquarium. I understand we got the second largest aquarium in the state
of Arkansas, and the largest one in Little Rock. It's 9,000 gallons. So it's divided up into 5 sections according to Arkansas ecoregions, and has native fish representative of each.
You talk about a great babysitter. I mean, for all ages, because I mean, you get in there and start looking at that, and you get mesmerized. Now, there's some of the birds you can sit there inside and enjoy the comfort of the nature center, and then you can watch the birds right outside the window.
Exactly.
We know where you're located in the river market. What are your hours of operation?
Well, we're closed on Mondays, and we're there Tuesday through Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Sunday 1 to 5.
Okay, and it's all free of charge. That's not the best thing about it. It's worth money,
great, though.
but it is neat. It's free of charge, open to the public. You've been there, I think, just a little over 2 years now,
Right.
haven't it?
Just over 2 years.
At the end of this show, get your pencil and paper out, because at the end of the third segment, we'll be giving you their address and that phone number and the website and all that if you want to contact them, because we're going to be talking a lot about birds today. No way we can cover everything we want to talk about today. We're going to talk about types of feeders. We're going to be talking about types of seed to put out. Resources and things like that. Of course, birds have been in the news here this last week or two with the big die-off of the blackbirds in BB, and that's kind of a weird deal going on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a pretty strange phenomena, but I guess the verdict isn't quite in yet. But there are lots of theories out there.
Mother Nature just has a way of doing some taking care of itself. But mainly today, we're going to be talking about songbirds, and I don't think people really realize how popular I guess the sport of bird watching is. It's the second most popular pastime in America.
Right.
The second most popular, first being gardening, which kind of goes right along with it, doesn't it?
It does.
Birds in general, how many birds, different species, do we have here in Arkansas?
Well, in any given year, you can pretty much count on about 320 being seen within our state, but up to over 400 have been seen here in Arkansas, including rarities, things that shouldn't have shown up in Arkansas that got lost during migration, and stuff like that. So.
And some of the birds we'll be talking about actually migrate through. Some of them come and stay a little while and leave and go and come back, but others stay here year-round.
Yes, we've got some year-rounds, and we've got some that just migrate through, and some that breed, some that just are here for the winter. Everybody has a job.
And they're very entertaining, good therapy. If you're not a bird watcher, you need to be. When we come back after this first break, we're going to show you some different types of feeders that might be good to attract birds to your house right there, so where you are. So you stay tuned, and we'll be back right after this. Here's my guest. At the Central Arkansas Nature Center, specializes in birds. How long have you been, you're a birder, you and your husband both, you took it up as a hobby, or how long have you been watching birds?
I guess I'd say about 8 years, about as long as I've known my husband. We met when we were undergrads at ASU, and he was already a birder, and then I took ornithology class, and he kind of took me under his wing, and you know, so it went from there.
So you took some classes in birds, and what'd you study?
We went out and did field trips and just went birding, and got quizzed on, okay, name that bird.
And you got a grade for that.
Yes.
Most people would flunk that course, really, because there are so many different types of birds,
There
like you said,
are.
and they make all different kinds of sounds. But it's so important, if you want to have some fun, just put some bird feeders out.
Right.
And not only for your benefit to watch them, but they need it this time of year. Talk about why we want people to put bird feeders out this time of year.
Well, this is a rough time of year for wildlife. You know, the food sources kind of start getting a little tough to find. So birds can find food without us, but when we put it out for them, it just makes their lives a whole lot easier. And then we're able to enjoy watching them. Whether you know what species you're looking at or not, it doesn't really matter. They're just fun to watch.
They really are. It's kind of a therapy for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the most common types of feeders because, and again, you don't really have to go to a store to buy these things. Wild Birds Unlimited is a great place, and they're always very nice about letting us borrow things, and they did that today. But talk about this type feeder here, and you can actually attract specific types of birds by the type feeders you put out.
Exactly, yes. And this is the most general feeder. If you're going to have one feeder, a tube feeder. This is a seed tube feeder, and you can put all different types of seed in here because it's got really big access holes. So from black gold sunflower seed to a mixed seed to a smaller seed, anything can go in there, and then any type of bird basically can use it. Any type of bird that will come to a feeder.
So this is a general bird feeder?
Yes.
And it's also covered. You can see up here, if Steve can get up here a little, you got it covered there where they can sit there and get out of the rain a little bit.
It's really great. It's got a metal roof on it, so squirrels and things are less likely to chew through it and all that kind of thing. It's also going to last you a little bit longer, and because it's square, it's easier to clean.
Okay.
Which is
important. I forget about cleaning my bird feeder, but that's kind of a general all-purpose bird feeder there.
Yes.
And all right, let's look at this next one. And this is more specific.
Exactly. If you want to attract a specific type of bird, sometimes it matters what type of feeder you have. So this is a finch feeder. The only type of seed that can go in this feeder is black Niger seed.
That's those little bitty...
Itty-bitty little seeds, yeah. And but goldfinches, purple finches, pine siskins, house finches, just all your finches are going to be able to come to that feeder, and they really, really enjoy all those Niger seeds. So.
Now, during a certain time of year, we have some these things come through, look like yellow canaries. A lot of people call them about yellow, beautiful birds. Is that what's
That's our American goldfinch, and that's these guys. So, and they're kind of, when they're here, is really kind of sporadic. It's just, it's not as reliable, I guess, or as easy to explain as some other species, but they're here right now in the wintertime, and they're really beautiful, and they're one of our most charismatic species.
Okay.
Everyone loves them.
Talk about this a little bit.
Okay. This is basically a giant suet feeder. So inside here we've got a little suet block, and what a suet block is it's animal fat with seed mixed in, and it's really good for birds this time of year. They need that extra fat to help keep them warm, and the food, kind of lasts them a little longer in their bodies because it goes a little longer. But you'll get a lot of woodpeckers with this. Woodpeckers love suet feeders, and then also nuthatches, chickadees, cardinals, titmice. Tons of birds will come to a suet feeder, and it's really fun to watch them because they can get to it from any place on here. So they'll be hanging upside down, turning sideways, hopping all around. It's a great feeder. You
know, down at your nature center also you have a lot of educational specialists, and they said that lots of times you can actually make your own seed. You don't have to buy feeders. I've seen them take a chunk of log and bore some holes in it and put peanut butter in there.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
same difference.
And that's a feeder. And coat a pine cone with peanut butter and dip it in seeds. That's a feeder. You don't have to spend hardly any money at all. And also another thing to attract different birds. All birds don't go to feeders, so a lot of our sparrows and things, and mourning doves, things like that, they feed on the ground. So a low tray feeder that's just a couple of inches off the ground, whether it's just like a round trash can lid, or you go get a square platform feeder, put it out there, fill it up with seed, and a lot of your sparrows and things. And in the wintertime, sparrows are kind of our heaviest feeder birds.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. When I put my feeders out, I got a whole bunch of them at the house. You'll see in the next segment. But when I put them out there, how do they know? I mean, do they smell it? Do they see me do it? Or how do they know the seed's there?
Well, if you notice, it takes a few days for them to find it. And then once they find it, other birds hone in on the activity down there. So a few birds find it, and then other birds notice them, and then it just kind of becomes a hot spot.
Now, also, this time of year, we've had some pretty cold weather the last couple weeks, 19, 20 degrees.
Right.
What about the water source? They need water maybe as much, if not more than food, do they?
Yeah, they do. They need water just like any living thing. So if you've got a water source out there, if you can try try and remember to crack the ice on it and keep it fresh, you know, keep it to where they can access
Keep
it.
the water
That'll
going.
help them out too.
And don't forget to clean your feeders.
Yes, that's a
my
feeder
biggest
cleaner
problem.
right there. It's a big job.
We got to take another break. We'll come back and talk about some different types of seeds that you might want to feed the birds in this winter months. We'll be right back. Okay, we're talking about bird feeding. There's a bluebird. I understand you're kind of specialty on bluebirds, aren't you, Sarah?
Yes, sir. I studied those during my master's degree.
Wow. Just so many different beautiful birds here in Arkansas. And this is, I think some of this is taken down to Nature Center outside the window. And then a little bit later here in the video, you'll see some, that's my house there. I've got about 8 different bird feeders up. And I really didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but you kind of get hooked on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People, it's the first thing you look at when you wake up in the morning. Go out there and check your bird feeders.
Well, I don't do that the first thing.
I do.
It amazes me of how much you can learn from watching the birds, because I know before the cold weather moved in last week, boy, they were really busy. You know, I might go a day without seeing any birds, and all of a sudden they just get fired up, and that's telling you that something's coming.
Yeah, yeah. Last year when we had the big ice storm and snowstorm too, they were hitting feeders really hard because everything was all iced over. So.
Sure. Now that little feeder there's got peanuts in it. We didn't talk about that. That's another good
That's
nutrition.
a great food source for them. That, again, high in fat and protein.
There's my suet feeder.
That's a white rusted nuthatch on there. Did you know that?
Oh, it is? No, I did not. Just looked like a bird. I do know the red cardinal now. That's a cardinal, it's a male and female.
Very good.
And bird identification is a lot of fun as well.
Oh yeah, and that's part of what'll add to your challenge, you know, as you move through when you become adamant about bird feeding.
I keep my book there. I keep binoculars right there, and I keep a bird identification book right there. And still I have trouble because some of these, to me, species look so close. Like
Downy
there's
woodpecker.
There's a woodpecker, yeah. We got some red-headed woodpeckers here too, don't we? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that's a lot of fun there. Just if you don't have any bird feeders, get some of those bird feeders we talked about last time. We're going to talk now about some different types of seeds. You mentioned them a while ago. I'll hold this one up and Steve can get real close. This is your actual sunflower seed,
yes,
black oil?
this is the straight black oil sunflower seeds. And again, if you're going to have one feeder, get the seed tube feeder and fill it with black oil sunflower seeds, because you'll get the highest diversity with the the least, you know, effort, I guess. Everything loves black oil sunflower seeds.
Including squirrels.
Including squirrels, which is okay.
Yeah, just people always say, well, how do you keep the squirrels out of your bird feeders? And I say, don't. Just let them eat.
Just enjoy them. You can try a baffle and everything else, but they're clever little guys. They'll figure out a way around it.
You're exactly right. Okay, now this is I see some mix in here.
Yeah,
Talk about
this
that.
is a really nice mixed seed. It's got black oil sunflower seeds, it's got safflower, millet, and also a striped sunflower seed. So that's kind of a high grade, like a middle of the road kind of a sunflower seed. People can go crazy, spend a bunch of money on sunflower or on bird seed, and there's really no need. You'll get lots of different things, you know. And here's kind of a less expensive mixed seed. You'll see it's got a lot more than millet in it, but it's also got a little bit of cracked corn. And
what are
also
those little bitty?
Those itty bitty ones are millet.
Oh, that's
And then
millet?
this little red stuff here is milo, which is really good for a lot of things. And then it's got just enough black oil sunflower seeds to keep everybody else interested.
So I say this is not as expensive as your pure sunflower seeds.
Exactly, but still highly edible.
Yeah. And now this almost looks like good enough for us to eat.
I know, that looks like a trail mix, doesn't it?
Yep.
This is I call it uber fancy food.
Uber fancy.
It's got shelled sunflowers, it's got peanuts, it's got what they call tree nuts, which look to me like macadamia nuts. This right here is a dried cherry. It's got walnuts, almonds, pecans. It is really fancy food, but it's, again, high in fat and protein for the birds. So.
Okay. You know, when we're talking about that, too, a lot of people, we talk about the homemade stuff you can do. Just put out some fruit, because oranges.
Absolutely. An orange or a grapefruit sliced in half is real easy. So if you've got some that you've been around the house for a while, they're good enough for the birds at least.
Yeah, you don't waste them, don't throw them away.
Exactly.
All right. And this is that Niger. This is folks. This is that little bitty seed. All those little bitty seeds, and believe it or not, there's a seed inside of there. Because I have one of these, and the only bad thing about these, they're messy. Because those little things that sit up there and crack those open. It's amazing how fast
and
they
leave
can
the holes
do that.
on
And
the
leave the
ground.
holes. Yeah, they're not considerate at all. But this is, and again, you have to use a certain type of feeder.
Right,
for that
that's the
nitrogen.
thistle seed for the finches, so that's what they really like. And then we talked about suet and how important that is in the wintertime, and you can see it just comes in tons and tons of different varieties here.
Nuts
these
and
two
berries,
here are suet, and then this is what they call a no-melt dough. So this is good to put out when it's going to be raining or even in hot weather. It won't like disintegrate in the weather.
I always I buy an assortment of these things to put out and watch the different things too. A lot of resources. We don't have time to talk about it, but folks, there's a ton of books, organizations, clubs, associations, and we're going to put these books here. We don't, like I said, you can go. I guess you can Google or just go. Are there some websites people can go to find out the resources?
Tons and tons of websites. I mean, if you Google birding, you'll get a million things. But
Google birding.
yeah, but if I mean, North American Bird Feeding Society, North American Bluebird Society, the Audubon Society, all of our nature centers and Game and Fish regional offices are good resources. We've got some free pocket guides that we can hand out, things like that. And also, Game and Fish has lots of watchable wildlife areas.
Exactly right. Let's put the information. Here's the information if you want to contact Sarah. That's the Whit Stevens Jr. Central Arkansas Nature Center. The phone number there, 501-907-0636, and you have the website there, centralarkansasnaturecenter.com. You can either contact you that way, or better yet, just go down there and see you.
Yeah, come visit us at the Nature Center. It's free.
All right. Hey, thanks so much. You did a great job.
Thanks for having me.
All righty, we'll wrap this show up right after this.